Hi guys, in this video we're going to first just review what we know about simplifying radicals, and then we're going to move into some operations with radicals, starting with multiplying. But first, we're going to just review how to simplify a radical. So this is where we want to look for numbers that multiply to be 20. Can be any two as long as they multiply together to be 20. And remember, I'm going to keep going with this factor tree, but not to the point where I have to use ones. So 4 can be broken into 2 and 2, 5 could be 5 and 1, but I don't want to get to the point of using ones. Once it's broken down, I'm not going to use it, okay? So I'm looking for pairs. The pair becomes 1 and goes in front of the radical. Anything that was not paired stays underneath. So this would be square root of 20 simplified. We do the same thing here, but this is 2 times that. So anything I bring out front is also going to be multiplied by 2. So I'm going to say 9 and 2. So 9 I can break into 3 and 3. So the 3 comes out front with the 2 that's already there. If there's more than one thing out front, we're going to multiply them. And then I had this 2 that did not have a pair that's underneath. So this becomes 6 root 2. Okay, we can do the same thing with variables, okay? I'm going to kind of do each variable separately. So I have n squared. That's the same as n times n. And that's a pair. So that n will come out front. M to the fourth, there's a lot of ways I could do this. I could do m to the third and m squared, whatever you want, as long as the exponents add up to 4. I'm going to choose to do m squared and m squared because that's a pair. And so I can pull that out front. Z to the 7th, I'm going to do z to the 3rd and z to the 4th. Okay, z to the 3rd I can break down further into z squared and z. Z squared I can break into z and z. So there's a pair. Z to the 4th, I could do z squared and z squared. And there's a pair. So I have... right now, out front I have n, m squared, z, and z squared. And then underneath, I broke all these down, but I have this lonely z without a pair. So that is what stays underneath. Now z and z squared, I could write as z to the 3rd. So this is n, m squared, z to the 3rd times the square root of z. Okay, one more just like that. Okay, break down z to the 3rd, I can do z squared and z. So z squared, I could do z and z, pair. Y to the 16th, I'm going to do y to the 8th, y to the 8th, because that's a pair. I don't need to keep going. And then k to the 4th, k squared, that's a pair. I don't need to keep going. And I have that negative 2 out front. So we have negative 2z, y to the 8th, k squared. Underneath, we have that one lonely z that was not paired, so that is still underneath the radical. Okay, so that's just review of simplifying, you guys. Now we're still going to use those properties, but we're going to add in multiplying. So something important to know is that if I have a times b under the square root, we can break that into a times square root of a times the square root of b. And the same is true the other way. Square root of a times the square root of b equals square root of ab. Okay, so for example, right now, I cannot break these down any further because I would have to use 1. So I can go ahead and multiply those, which is square root of 10. 2 and 5 don't have a pair, so that's as far as we can go. 10 and 7, we can multiply those to say square root of 70. 2 times 10 and 7, 2 and 5, I'm not able to get any pairs. Here, 90, so I can do square root of 90, but I could break that down further because 9 breaks into 3 and 3. So we could rewrite this one as 3 root 10. Okay? So I could have broken this down first and said, oh yeah, 9 is the square root of 3 and done that right away, kind of like this one. I can multiply these together first, or I can simplify first. Square root of 4 is just 2. Square root of 49 is 7, so 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, here I am going to put my numbers out front together and my radicals together. So this is 3 times 2 and underneath 2 times 5. Okay, so I'm doing outside numbers together and inside the radical numbers together. So 6 root 10. Okay, here we have -1, 2, and 4. So -1, 2, 4. Underneath I have 7 times 6 times 3. Okay, so one thing that's, well, we'll go ahead and do that. So -8 square root of 7 times 6 times 3 is 126, which I know divides by 6. So if I do 126 divided by 6, I get 21. 3 and 7, 2 and 3. So there I have a pair of 3s. Okay, so this is going to be -8 times 3 and then 2 times 7 underneath. So here I have -24 times the square root of 14. Okay, last couple here. So I can either simplify first and then multiply, or we can multiply and then simplify. I'm going to multiply first. So when I multiply powers, we can add the exponents. So this is going to be z to the 13th and k to the 8th and j to the 6th. Okay, so now I'm going to do my breakdown just like I did before. I can also break into 3 factors, you guys. So why I would do that is I'm going to do z to the 6, z to the 6, and z. So then I can get my pair right away. That's another strategy. K to the 8th, we're going to break that into k4, k4. And j to the 6th, we can do j to the 3rd, j to the 3rd. So here I have z to the 6th, k to the 4th, j to the 3rd. And then underneath we have that lonely z still. Okay, last one. This is multiplication. So -2 times -3 out front. Underneath, z and z to the 3rd is z to the 4th. K to the 30th, k to the 5th is k to the 35th. Okay, same thing. I can break this down further. Z squared. So that's a pair. I'm going to do this one into thirds as well again, because I can do z to the 17, or sorry, not z, k to the 17, k to the 17, and k. So here I have 6, -2 times 3, z squared, k to the 17th, and then 1k left underneath. All right, guys, so multiplying has a lot of the same properties as simplifying. You can simplify first, then multiply, or multiply and then simplify from there.